Hello, welcome to another episode of Ron's Library and Ideas. This is Ron. Today we're going to be in Satan, an autobiography as told to Yehuda Berg. This is chapter 21, The Vault. The keys. When you pass a test, when you use the tools that God has handed you, you destroy me. The same holds true when you allow yourself to be uncomfortable, when you trust God, when you empathize with others, or wake up your yearning for your soulmate, or when you challenge your pain directly. You activate the keys that open up the vault that contains the infinite riches of the energy of the Creator. The reason the world isn't swimming in the sea of bliss is because only a few have opened up the vault. But this has got to be a team effort. It takes more than a few brave souls to transform the world. If you play nice, I'll reveal the greatest of all mysteries in regard to getting everything you want out of life. The vault, the key, and the timer. There is a vault, not a bank vault. I am speaking metaphorically here. And this vault is on a timer, a very precise timer. Each time you insert the key into the lock, turn it, and open up the vault door, the timer is set. When the time runs out, the vault slams shut. Getting the idea here? While that vault is open, you can grab as much as you want for yourself. But the only way to initially open the vault is by getting your hands on the key. The key, as I have told you, is the sharing you do when you pass the test. Now, here's where it gets a bit thorny. This key is magical. It knows what's inside your head. It knows what's inside your heart. None of us is perfect. Thus, none of us is able to pass every test. Remember that my sole purpose is to make you fail. If not all the tests, at least the critical ones. Those that set you up for real transformation. In order for me to fulfill my purpose, I remind you of your shame, your feelings of worthlessness, and the fact that you are a miserable failure. It's no wonder everyone hates tests. It's me working you from the inside, making you feel uncomfortable and worried that you're really nothing. But if you understood this next critical idea, which we'll call the ratio, I don't think you'd be so worried. Determining the ratio. What do I mean by ratio? Well, the ratio determines how long the vault stays open. What determines the ratio? Your head, specifically your state of consciousness during a test. There is a direct correlation between the amount of growth that results from your actions and how long the vault stays open. Simple. Usually, you are 100% in the status quo. Thus, the ratio between where you were and where you have come is 100 to 1. Not only does that not open the vault, it doesn't even let you put your hands on the key. All you get is the swag I give away. What do I mean by swag? Swag includes all the following: comfort, cars, jewelry, houses, cash, honor, praise, fame, celebrity, applause, fake friends, sex, toys, condos, mistresses to put inside the condos, prescription medication for your fears, phobias, and anxieties. I think you catch my drift. The treasures. The treasures inside the vault include the following: growth, happiness, family, love, marriage, children, health, well-being, wisdom, serenity, peace of mind, sustenance, a fearless, guiltless, anxiety-free life, true friendship, simple joy, freedom, appreciation, bliss. The trade. Each time you accept swag, one of the real treasures in your life gets locked up in the vault. It's taken away from you. Poof. It's gone. Look again at the list of treasures. That's what you give up each time you choose swag. And they stay locked in the vault until you finally give up the swag and choose the treasure. The good news is that you have many lifetimes to figure all this out, if you so choose. This is why people lose their spouses, children, family, friends, financial security, careers, and their sanity. Because when the test comes, you lose your treasures in direct proportion to the amount of swag you chose at the time of the test. This means that losing a loved one, for instance, can occur in many ways: a divorce, a fight, estrangement, or death. The results are precisely calculated based on your decisions on the test. So this whole concept of punishment and reward, a nice God and a mean God, is totally bogus. You're the only one calling the shots here. How God gives. God doesn't really answer your prayers. Big misconception propagated by yours truly. Rather, God is the answer to your prayers. Subtle difference. The word is a noun, not a verb. What that means is that there is an energy, a force, a power that underlies all reality. This power is God, and it's infinite, and it's filled with everything. This power is hidden inside the vault. If you access it, it is the answer to your prayers. The percentage game. When you go through a test and 20% of your action was genuinely unconditional, that means 80% of the act was influenced by a selfish, hidden agenda. Me. But that's okay. Seriously, it was still a positive action. No need to worry, because the treasure in the vault does not feed any selfish agenda. There is no swag in there. So the ego derives zip. It will only feed the unconditional aspect of your action. Here's what happens. The key to the vault turns, the vault unlocks. The door opens wide. The timer on the door starts ticking. Your soul, your subconscious mind, and your conscious, willful desire start accumulating treasures from inside the vault. The door stays open in accordance with the 20% true growing that you did. Then the door gently closes. Your life will now improve, relatively speaking, and become enriched with true fulfillment. This is the kind of fulfillment you tasted before in the Garden of Eden. Honest, believe me, it's transformative, deeply loving, eye-opening. You will wonder why you never sought this kind of fulfillment before. Actually, it was hidden away on purpose for reasons relating to free will. The fact is, your entire life, you were never whom you were meant to be. Not in a divine sense, that is. You only took. Even when you performed positive actions, they were motivated by winning the approval of others, of praise, honor, a return favor, your name on a building, a plaque, a tax break. or just selfish pleasure. There's nothing wrong with pleasure, it's just that selfish pleasure doesn't last. You are all creatures of comfort. Know why? Because that is your true origin and home, and it's your final destiny. Comfort and contentment are where you came from, and they are where you will wind up if you play your cards right. But in the short term, they're a roadblock. They stop you from walking into the vault. So the tests must be uncomfortable. They have to take you out of your comfort zone. No growth happens when you're sucking your thumb and holding on to your blanket. You have to hate the thought of what you are being challenged to do. After you do it, you'll feel differently, but not 1 second before. What does the test mean right now? For today, a test might mean that for once you will learn to let go of your anger. It'll hurt. It'll be uncomfortable. After all, getting angry feels so satisfying. But when you hold your tongue, you're transforming yourself from a creature controlled by me to one controlled by your soul. For today, passing the test might mean you do your job at the office for the sake of growing and becoming better, or for the sake of helping the company, and not out of a sense of obligation or fear. The paycheck you receive will be an automatic effect of your actions. Likewise, you pass a test by paying your employees good money because you want them to be the best they can be. You want them to feel good about themselves and all that they do so that they, as well as your business, can thrive, and so that you can employ others and enrich their lives. You become like God when you manufacture goods to enrich the lives of others, not to turn a profit. The profit will come, but it must be the effect, not the cause of your work. Catch the shifting consciousness here? For 2,000 years, you had your eye on the wrong ball. You did it all backwards and you bled because of it. I know. No one in their right mind thinks like this. Know why? Because I have been everyone's right mind for thousands of years. 2,000 years of receiving. The entire world has been cast under a spell, one so powerful it blinded you to the true reality. The spell is called ego. And the nature of ego is to receive. Every action throughout history, every single thought and flow of consciousness was grounded in self-interest. And this is why you have not experienced a world of peace and unending miracles. I've got news for you. Chaos is not normal, and miracles are nature's true expressions. You just haven't figured out how to ignite those miracles yet. Well, now you know. The switch in consciousness is the method. When you switch your consciousness from receiving and self-interest, me, into unconditional sharing and selfless behavior, God, you tap the real fulfillment of life. Now comes the real mind-bending part, the fulfillment effect. The very fulfillment you draw from the vault has an additional benefit. It produces a secondary effect. The fulfillment that you feel will actually help further eradicate me. So, not only does it give you deep joy, it weakens me. Now you're in the double bonus. The very joy you receive gently and seamlessly transforms your consciousness so that you can receive even more joy. I am now telling you how to terminate my command with extreme prejudice. In your next test, work a little harder. This time, devote 35% of truly giving and growing. This keeps the vault open even longer so that you can grab even more eternal treasure. This divine flow of fulfillment makes you happier than you ever thought possible. Plus, it negates even more of my power and influence over you. See what's happening? You are growing happier as I grow weaker. Each test takes you closer to the ultimate 100%. The magic. Knowing how to maximize your time in the vault requires that you completely grasp the idea of love thy neighbor as thyself. For 2,000 years, no one had a clue what this meant. It sounded nice, all warm and fuzzy, but it was just something to aspire to, but not any longer. Most of the time, you put yourself first, right? When you think of others as you think of yourself, then you are putting others first too. You are sharing with them as you share with yourself. This is greed, certainly, but it's greed turned upside down and inside out. It's greed turned into ultimate sharing. And how ironic that I will be the one to get you to understand what Moses, Jesus, and the Prophet Muhammad tried to tell you for so many centuries. Love thy neighbor as thyself is the master key to a luminous, light-filled vault that has been hidden away since the world began. And it contains a never-ending flow of happiness, contentment, serenity, bountiful pleasure, deep peace of mind, and joyous laughter that you could never dream up in a million years. Now, here comes the payoff, and it includes immortality. Why? How? Simple. The treasure inside the vault is made up of an infinite, endless flow of divine energy. That means that when the vault remains eternally open, you nourish and draw divine sustenance eternally. You keep sharing, and God keeps giving forever. The vault, the sun, and the second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics is a funny thing. Physicists say that over time, systems tend toward disorder, which is why things wear out and fall apart. What they do not realize is that this only happens because of the existence of space and time, two concepts created by me. Here's how it works. I make you react and receive selfishly, and the energy involved slowly dissipates. However, when someone shares, energy is injected into the system. Instead of bringing about slow decay and death, it brings about life. When you tap the vault continuously, energy will flow continuously. Consequently, the tendency toward chaos described by the second law will be forever postponed, and the energy that flows into our world will forever sustain life and increase happiness and pleasure on this sacred planet. No favors. By now it should be clear. You are not doing the other person any favors when you love them unconditionally. That's the paradox. You're doing yourself a favor, the ultimate favor. You're practicing the most unselfish kind of greed there is. Greed for the light of the Creator by way of banishing the ego. You choose true fulfillment through sharing instead of selecting foolish selfishness in return for a bit of swag from Satan. Free gift with a purchase. Consider this next bit of free gift with purchase of this book. Here's your gift. A few priceless suggestions to do with what you will. First off, thank your Uncle Satan for outing himself after a few millennia of ingenious concealment. Next, give a tip of the hat to God for creating you and allowing you to finally seize hold of this knowledge. In fact, do that right now. Take a moment and thank both of us for giving you the opportunity to exist and earn the miracles coming your way. Now, share my book. Reach into your pocket and buy a copy for someone else. Don't recommend it, buy it with your own coin. Why? This is the most profound act of sharing you can possibly engage in, because you are sharing nothing less than the secret of immortality with another human being. There is no greater unconditional act than that, and you're doing it out of upside down greed, which, as we've learned, gives you everything you want. No, this is not a shameless ploy to stimulate sales. I don't get royalties on this book. You're the one who'll be earning all the profits if you take my advice. The return on your investment will transform your life in miraculous ways, and you will witness extraordinary things taking place all around the world. In the news, in the newspapers, just watch. Not to mention that an act of sharing removes any previous karmic debts and doubts that you might have accumulated over many years and lifetimes of accepting swag. Trust me, the world has an enormous debt that should have led to your total and absolute destruction by now. Sharing my book will ensure your debt is paid back easily. I'm talking about a payment plan that will blow your mind if you knew what was happening cosmically. There's not another lending institution around that can match God's terms. All right, that brings us to the end of chapter 21, The Vault. What are you guys' thoughts on this chapter? First thing that's initially coming to mind is how simple a concept it is to do unto others as you will have them do unto you. Treat your neighbor like you want yourself to be treated. But how difficult that can seem to be in the world where we're shown so many things that's meant to divide us. So this video is going up during election season here in America. Right now we're getting ready to vote for who's going to be the next president of the United States. And it's during this time in the country that a lot of people really let themselves get divided and lose sight of that concept of doing unto others as you will have them do unto you. And I believe that that's part of a plan by people who have a controlling interest in this world, who want to keep us divided so they can stay in command. But I think that is something that is failing. People are starting to see more and more through the games that are being played. We can see that, as we go out and we quote unquote vote for these different people, things aren't really changing in the direction that we would like them to change in the country, no matter who's in power. And as we become more politically astute, or as we lose faith in the system, you have no other choice but to start to look inside of yourself and ask yourself some questions. And I believe it's these questions, learning this type of information about who Satan truly is, how it's really your ego. And everybody has an ego. So we've been trying to place the blame on everything outside of ourselves when it's really us not realizing how powerful we are and the capabilities we have when we stop acting selfishly. I do like the idea of the author saying, or Satan writing in the book saying, to share this book. That's one way to help fight this fight. And so I thank all of you for listening to this. I hope you're getting something from this story. I know that I did the first time that I read it. And I don't think it's an accident that, the Spirit put it on me to put this on my YouTube channel, because this is going to be spread to more people than I could possibly touch physically with a physical copy. So thank you for listening to this. Share this with someone or some multiples of people who you believe could use this information. I know you've heard the saying that things are always darkest just before the dawn. And that means to me that when things seem to be at their bleakest, at its worst, that's when a change is really about to happen. I'm looking around at all the current events that's going on in the world, and I know there's a change coming. There's positive change coming. We just have to stay focused on that and not get so bogged down in the details of the mundane. If you're growing spiritually, there's other people who are growing spiritually as well, and that energy is going out and affecting our environment. So stay strong, stay positive, keep growing, and do your best to treat your neighbors as you want yourself to be treated. Do unto others. Respect yourself and respect the people around you, even when you don't completely agree. And that's when the ego kind of makes it the hardest to do that. Because you'll hear somebody say something that seems so contradictory to what you know or to what you feel, and they'll have like some feelings coming up inside of you. Anger, resentment, this idea of thinking, oh, this person must be stupid, are they out of their minds? But everybody has their own journey to go on, and we have to give them the space to take that journey. Now, the only time I don't personally rock with that is if it comes to them hurting someone else or hurting children. But other than that, you got to let people do what they need to do to advance. So again, thank you guys and ladies for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, hit the bell notification so you can know when I upload. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of Ron's Library and Ideas. Peace.